Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over NVIDIA stock. Let's talk about what is happening to the stock, what we can expect moving into the rest of this week, really tomorrow, which by the way, I want to make it clear. Tomorrow is triple witching day. Tomorrow is probably going to be a very weird day in the market. It's very kind of, wonky price action for the most part. In all honesty, my genuine opinion is just don't even look at tomorrow. Just take tomorrow off. Take tomorrow off. Don't even look at it. It's going to be a waste of time. And it's just going to be choppiness all over the board. Just my honest opinion. But with that being said, let's jump into it. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you do enjoy my technical analysis, I do share my thoughts every single day in my YouTube membership section down below. For just $3 a month, you get access to all my thoughts, post updates, mainly on Tesla stocks, sometimes other stocks as well. Or for $5 a month, you get access to all of that, plus NVIDIA daily updates as well. But jumping into it, NVIDIA closing the day up actually 1.4% on the day, which is a pretty nice thing to say on a day like this, and especially after a day like yesterday, closing at just shy of $131 per share, which is pretty good. Again, compared to the market, definitely a bit of an outperformance today, which is a nice sign to see, with NVIDIA, of course, reaching oversold territories on the RSI yesterday, which again, doesn't happen too often, but when it does happen, it's closer to a bottom than to a top. Now, before we dive much deeper, I want to obviously illustrate an obvious point here, and the fact that my bottom trend line here, you can see, is different, right? I used to have it like this, just to make it very clear, right? I used to have it, how did I have it? I think I have it like this. Let me remove this one for now. I think I used to have it like this, right? It was something like this, which actually, even like this, you can argue it's still kind of valid. We're kind of roughly holding around it. But the reason I changed it to the way it is now is because we were kind of chopping up and down through the trend line. I didn't like that. That to me told me that something is wrong with this trend line. And what I did was instead, I took the trend line that has more validity to it, because there's more touch points to it, which is this top trend line here. Many touch points. Many touch points, which I like, right? This gives more validity to the trend line. And what you sometimes can do, because trend lines like this or channels are technically parallel to each other, just copy paste it. You literally just take this one, pretty much copy paste it, and you pretty much just put it down here, and you can see it looks exactly the same. And that's what I did. And that tells us the fact that, hey, you know what? We're probably still within this nice rising channel here, and we're actually still looking pretty decent. And, pretty much this kind of mid to high 120s, at the moment at least, is still pretty much bottom picking territory for the most part, right? That's territory that you want to be looking for, for potential powerful bounce from here, right? Now, again, we're kind of stuck in a little bit of a sandwich situation here where, we do have obviously some pretty nice support around this area here, right? Which of course acted as a resistance in this area before, bit of resistance here. Now it's clearly acting as a bit of a support, which is a nice sign to see. But we also have some decent resistance not far above us, where you can see this kind of, high mid 130s ish region acted as a resistance and a support, now a resistance, and the bands, of course, both acting as a double resistance anytime we go into the mid 130s. So we're in a little bit of a sandwiched sort of situation here, right? So we'll see how this plays out, right? I don't think NVIDIA is ready to roll too crazy anywhere just yet, but once this kind of, once we figure out what the hell we're doing in this little area here for NVIDIA, right? Once the stock figures out what it wants to do, I think the bulls can definitely bring this one back up, right? Because on top of everything I just mentioned, we are also in this little descending type wedge situation, and we're kind of zigzagging down in between, kind of getting a little bit tighter, right? And we could definitely get a lot tighter until we finally break above or below one of these main levels of this declining wedge or falling wedge, right? So let's see how this plays out. Now, obviously, the reason I give the bulls a little bit of an upper hand here for the most part, despite the bands, of course, suggesting otherwise, is because I think we'll push past this bands. I really do, because we are getting very oversold on the RSI. NVIDIA is a very strong stock. It's not a stock that should be down this much, this fast, this quickly, without at some point sooner than later finding its footing and making its way back up, right? Because a lot of people are getting very bearish on NVIDIA, right? And in some aspects, rightfully so, right? There were definitely some concerning signs about the chart for sure, but it's such a strong stock that it would be very disappointing to see it break down below and actually make its way back down to 115. Because again, I want to make it clear, if we do lose this general mid-ish 120s region, and we really start closing below mid 120s, roughly, 115 becomes my target. I think we go to 115, unfortunately, right? That definitely becomes the target to watch for next. I don't think that's going to happen as of right now, but I don't want to rule it out. I don't want to say no for sure, because we're in a very choppy market right now, after yesterday's price action especially. Very choppy market, very difficult conditions here. We have OPEX, essentially triple witching day tomorrow. We need to have all these kind of options. We need all of this to get flushed out of the system. And I think next week, Monday or Tuesday, we should get a little better a little bit of a better read on the market, a little bit of a better understanding what what can come next. Right now it is choppy. Another thing we're doing today is we're printing an inside day candle, right? Where today's price range traded within yesterday's overall candle. So, a break above or below today's price range could signal, weakness or strength. So for instance, a break above today's high above 134 tomorrow or Monday or whatever, could be bullish, could be very bullish, and we could finally make our way back up, hopefully. On the flip side, a break below today's low at about 129.5 can easily make us come back down one more time to the mid 120s and hopefully, of course, hold this bottom trend line roughly. So yeah, let's see how this plays out. Again, very choppy markets, very difficult conditions here, right? It's not an easy market right now, which is why, I'm playing a little bit more on the defense here, right? I'm just pretty much selling options for the most part. I have sold puts lower, expiring tomorrow. I think it's a 124 or something like that, or 5 or something like expiring tomorrow. So if it fills, it fills. It is what it is. But I did actually enter a position pretty much actually exactly where we closed at. I'm pretty sure it's literally maybe like 5 cents lower, but pretty much exactly where we closed. But what I did was I instantly sold cover calls against it. I bought the shares and I instantly sold cover calls for tomorrow. Why? Because the premiums are very high. The premiums right now are very, very high. The VIX, despite it obviously falling a decent amount today, is still pretty elevated. It's at 24. That's pretty elevated. The premium on options right now is elevated, which is why selling options in this environment is pretty lucrative, because you get paid a decent amount for the capital required for either selling the cover call or the cash required essentially as collateral for the cash you could put. That's kind of my strategy right now, because I do think NVIDIA has a chance of just doing a little bit of nothing for the next couple of days or so, right? Around this general vicinity that we've pretty much been trading in for the last 3 days, until we really find our footing, until this options expiry gets flushed out, and we can finally find our direction, finally find our footing, and really get a better read on the charts. But that's kind of my overall perspective right now. So again, difficult market, difficult read, difficult situation, but simply put, above this trend line, it's bullish, right? Below 115 is next. And while it's above this, it's technically bullish, I guess you can say, but still arguably bearish as well, because we have these bands. So we need one of these to give up essentially, right? One of these has to crack. And we will probably slowly get tighter, because the bands will slowly make their way back down, while this is obviously, trend line is obviously rising, all while within this descending wedge. So this area right here is going to be jam-packed with probably choppy price action until we finally pick the direction we want to go next. Again, the bear case here is 115. The bull case, though, if we break out, I actually think if we break out of this and we essentially reclaim at least 135, ideally 140, I think all-time highs is next. At least all-time highs is next. And yeah, that's really just the way I look at it right now. So let me know what you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, down below in the description of the video. But again, difficult market. So I'm playing a bit more on the defense side, just kind of taking it easy, not over trading. I'm just selling options. I'm just sitting back, selling options while people are paying extra premium for the same. People are paying extra premium for literally the same options because the VIX is elevated. So just be careful about that when you're buying options on an elevated VIX environment. It's probably not the play. Just my opinion, of course. Now, moving into options flow on NVIDIA. The bulls are finally coming back in, you can see, right? Nice little 1.4 million, 1.4 million. They are slightly like mini leaps, you can say. 2025, February 21, about 4 months out, three-ish months out, 3-4 months out. Yeah, mini leaps, I would say, mini leaps, but nothing crazy, not crazy leaps, but nonetheless, nice calls. I like to see these kind of things. Nice, bulls coming in, expecting NVIDIA to make its way higher. Unfortunately, the strike is 110, which is not what I like to see. I like to see out of the money personally, but not bad, not too bad. The bulls are stepping in. The bulls are definitely stepping in, right? We had, this is actually a leap, 1.6 million, December 18th, 2026. But another one, 1.5 million and 1.5 million here, also February 21st, 110 strike. So, a little bit on the safer side, but still pretty good to see. Would have been even better if it was out of the money. But of course, in the morning, the bears were definitely stepping in. So pretty mixed flow for the most part. Hard to get a good read there, to be completely honest with you. And in terms of confirmed options flow, where is NVIDIA? Let's see if we can find it, if it's anywhere. Here it is. Only 5 million bearish confirmed flow. Nothing to really worry about, nothing to write home about. At this point, just take tomorrow off. Honestly, take tomorrow off straight up. Just don't even waste your time. Let the market do its, witchcraft, no pun intended, tomorrow. Let it do its thing. Let it, I don't know. You get what I'm saying. Let it do its thing tomorrow, guys. Let it do its thing. Let those options expire. We get a fresh, nice start on Monday / Tuesday. I think that's where things will get a little more understandable. But yeah, all that being said and done. Thanks so much for watching. Quick look at the markets overall, though. The SPY, breaking both some trend lines here, right? Definitely some concern over here. SPY looking a little bit weak. So I'm very curious to see how this goes. It is actually holding a major resistance though, old resistance, now support, hopefully. So let's see how that plays out, but it is breaking some pretty important trend lines and bands that I don't like to see. So could be a bear trap, could be a bear trap. It is still at a pretty important level here. If we lose this though, we most likely make our way to 575. So let's see how this plays out, which would be another drop of about 2%, which could bring NVIDIA back down to the mid 120s. Let's see. And of course, we also have QQQ, right? Kind of breaking below the trend line here, looking a little bit stronger than SPY slightly, but actually holding the market bias, which is good to see. So yeah, again, the market needs a bit of time here. Let the market figure its thing out. It's like a baby, having a tantrum. Just let it cool off a bit. Give it some time, let it cool off, and let's revisit it, in a day or two, essentially. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Peace.